here's some styles of heads. And the reason I throw these styles of heads in various things is grass, rocks, and wood and whatnot. So if I'm going to fish grass, which there's a lot of grass in the lakes up here in Minnesota that we fish, there's a particular jig that comes through the grass really well. This is actually a TT Customs jig, and if you look at the jig head, you'll notice that it's pretty pointy, and that line tie is recessed in there. Now this is a phenomenal grass jig, comes through the grass really well, and I throw it in pretty much two sizes. 1/2 ounce I throw most of the time, and then the 3/4 if it's thicker stuff. A lot of times some of the thicker milfoil I'll have to go with this big 3/4. But the key thing with this jig is the hook. It's a 5/0 owner hook. It's one of the best jig hooks I think they make. I don't know. This thing is phenomenal. Get a little better view on that. That thing is just meaty and it's stout. So when it comes to jig fishing in the grass, this is the style that I like. Now, with this, see how that's eye is out? It comes through the grass, but if I'm fishing thick, this definitely comes through the grass better. Now, if I'm going down like a sporadic weed edge, and I do throw this one probably 75% of the time, if I'm fishing wood, grass edges, I'm going to go with a style like this. Now, this is just a Boss finesse flip head. I throw this jig a ton. And I have a couple different skirt options that I tie. I tie all my own skirts, and sometimes I tie too many different ones. But let's go over this style head. I throw in a lot of wood. 7/16 and 5/16 is what this one comes in. You can get these in 3/16 as well. It comes with a nice beefy hook too. So a few different colors that I like. I don't throw a whole lot of, if you look at my jig box, I basically have green pumpkin orange, green pumpkin blue, green pumpkin chartreuse, and then black, blue, purple, and then a color like this, which is sapphire blue, electric blue, whatever you want to call it. Works really well in muddy water. And that's a pretty good color in that. So basically, this is another black, blue, and sometimes I'll throw a little bit of chartreuse in there. But as far as colors in black and blue, it's always some kind of hue of black, blue, a smidge of purple, and maybe a little bit of chartreuse. I don't get fancy with that. I just throw a little bit of that. Green pumpkin, I have a few different colors. I got the blues, green pumpkin blue, green pumpkin orange, green pumpkin chartreuse. Like this. If I'm targeting it and fishing around a lot of sunfish, I'll go with this color. This looks like a little bluegill falling down. And this one just happens to be living rubber. That looks pretty nice. And then your typical brown or green pumpkin and orange. This happens to be just a little finesse. This is a 3/16. Use this around a lot of docks, and I'll skip that around there. It's very good. And that head is also, that comes through the grass pretty well with that head. This is a Bill Lowen jig head from Lure Parts Online or something like that. That is a really good jig head. As far as, that's pretty much it. Green pumpkins and any variation of green pumpkin. I have a bunch of different ones, but they all are pretty much base core. They have some purple. So basically I have green pumpkin blue, green pumpkin purple, green pumpkin chartreuse, and green pumpkin orange. And those are basically any hue of those, I mean, you could get by with one or two of those. And then green, and then your black and blues, your electric blue and your basic black blue. And that's pretty much it. For grass fishing a jig like this, I'm throwing a heavy action 7.1 to 7.4 16-pound fluorocarbon gamma. Sometimes I'll throw braid. If it's really, really thick, I'll throw braid with a 16-pound leader on it, tied with an FG knot. If I'm casting a jig like this, 16th along the weed edge, I'm going to be throwing that 14-pound fluorocarbon gamma and just throwing it right along the weed edge, or the little weed points in that weed edge. And that's the deal with that. So basic colors, I mean, you can get by with, I think you can get by with 4 or 5 colors. Your green pumpkin orange, it's a must. Green pumpkin chartreuse, black blue, electric blue, and green pumpkin blue or purple. And I think if you have those 5 colors, you can fish pretty much any condition out there. And there's obviously some colors that work better, but those are my 5 core colors that I throw and have the most confidence with. But it keeps it basic. I don't have 50 different colors in there. It's always like, it's a lot easier to have the same colors. And if you have confidence in the bait, I feel a lot of times you catch more fish on that. So stay basic. Once the thing that I've learned, stay basic and then branch off here and there in certain situations. And that'll get you by and you'll catch a lot of fish. Plus, I'm addicted to throwing jigs. I got hundreds and hundreds of jigs. So you'll catch big fish. Fish to jig.